Okay, so it's if it's gonna work, the NFT has to be a cross chain eco, like what's it called, a cross chain ecosystem. Polygon is good at that. It should be like attached to Polygon and Ethereum. I didn't want to say Ethereum. I like Polygon Wax, but that's me. I could be wrong. I mean, I was already right, but it's just that I want to be right more. Doesn't mean it necessarily means that I am. I thought VV Kami was going to be a, what's it called? Like kind of like easy. That was an easy guess. You know, more licenses to big names like Disney and NFL and everything. It seems like that shit's going through hell. VV Kami, it wants to eat itself from the inside out, and that, and it probably could still work, but it's just like all bad news all the time. But Polygon is Matic all the time, good news all the time, good. They got to be part of your cross-chain ecosystem. And it would be nice for me if it's Wax, but it might not be the soundest bet, but it's a green, easily used, most friendly, most used, oldest, whatever blockchain with the most transactions and the most games and everything. It's kind of like a big hub that for some reason hasn't you know, like hasn't really taken the precedent, you know what I mean? But then there's like really fancy gala or whatever, you know. I like them, but I don't know if I don't really know as much about what is it called, because don't they have to kind of, to be cross-chain, there's going to be a lot of code and a lot of, it's going to take a lot of processing, and it has to be decentralized, and a lot more validators, so they count how many validators they have, and Ethereum has the most validators, so it has to be. So besides that, I mean, just knowing of the existence of NFT platforms is not good for suggestion, but for some reason I think I know that Polygon has to be part of it. They're like a second layer, what's it called? They're kind of like a second layer solution, and a, what's that called? Second layer solution. And they're working on something like third layer solutions, and where you wouldn't need, where you wouldn't need something like that. I don't really know that much about it. It's just babble. It's just like some babble in the back of my brain. Stuff for me to figure out later. But I know there's because blockchains that have to run over each other has a lot of hang-ups and glitches or something. I don't know. That's not a good explanation. So, I mean, there's limitations and gaps in what I know, but it just seems like something that I wouldn't turn it down free. And it's not really gambling if you can afford to lose it. So for those kind of people, there's enough of those kind of people. They should be afraid not to have some exposure, also research too. But I mean, it's not just like, oh, you did a smart thing because you bought in. Like, it's not just as simple as having a buy-in. Some things you need a buy-in. Some things are set up like to suggest that you need to have a buy-in, and you don't have to have a buy-in, or you probably shouldn't. Or am I being some things? Oh, political shit. But there's things outside of that spectrum that you can still encompass. You wouldn't think that you can banish social media from their venues that they come up with on their own with censorship resistant software. How come that? See, a lot of people don't appreciate and see what the same thing that they've been screaming about, and the little steps, when they take a little step toward it, and it's not enough. And it's not enough of the type of Donald Trump energy, you know what I mean? But it wasn't before. So just bread it out. What about that concept of just, bread me out? Since everything's gonna be shitty and everything's gonna suck, I might as well get breaded out. And but don't do that if you can't afford to lose it, though. If you can't afford to spend that. See, it's the same knowledge base. Everybody knows the same shit. It seems like I'm a genius or something. I'm not a genius. I tried to explain something and I just failed. Like, to try to come up with a better explanation, and it's more generalistic. It turned into being more generalistic or something. Like, that's like, bleh.